Hey YouTube world, we've got another Quince haul, Spring Summer 2025 edition. I've got a lot of new pieces to show you. I pay for everything myself, not sponsored in any way. Let me tell you my honest opinion on what is worth it and what isn't. So let's just get right into it. Before I bust out all of the new pieces I got, and for those of you who are new to my channel, I've done 2 different Quince hauls already. I'll make sure to link them up above for you as well as in the pinned comments section below. But I wanted to give you an update on literally my favorite piece from Quince, which is the Mongolian cashmere for I think $90. And you guys have told me you love this piece as well. And I've been wearing this so much, literally on a weekly basis, I want to say. So cost per wear has definitely been driven down quite a bit. Overall, it has held up incredibly nice. I did get this in a size medium. I will tell you, for cashmere pleat pieces, they do stretch out a little bit. So if you want the more oversized, slouchy kind of look, then yeah, definitely go for your usual size. But if you want a more fitted size, definitely size down. I think I am very happy with the stretched out look, with the one shoulder look, but I might want to get a different one in a different color in a small size so that it's a little bit more fitted. And true to any wool or cashmere pieces, the texture and of course the wear as you are rubbing your arms around, the friction is going to cause little balls to form, which of course you can just definitely run a fabric shaver across and it just looks not brand new, but it's gonna look much nicer. And just because it is cashmere doesn't mean you can't wear it during the summer, because if you do go into the office or if you go to, restaurants, they got the AC blasting. So I think having such a lightweight piece that you can just fold up and put into your bag when you're going into the office, if it gets cold or chilly, you can just toss it on. One other piece I wanna give you an update on that you guys all love as well is the Lululemon dupe, where it's the zip up version. I think it's like the Align jacket or whatnot. I don't know what the Lululemon version is called, but I love this one so much that I got it in 2 different colors, the olive as well as the navy, and it has held up beautifully. The zipper is just, fantastic, no issues with that. And I kind of wear this on a daily basis because I do work from home. So again, the wear and tear has been phenomenal. The stitching has remained intact. I also wear this when I go out for walks just because it is a great UV protection, wearing darker clothing in general, even though this is not UV specific, but anything long sleeve is just fantastic. So definitely worth the money. I would probably look into other colors as well. Moving on to the first piece that I added to my collection is this long sleeve knit, waffle kind of fishnet sweater. This is actually a swimsuit cover-up, and Quince has just been killing it when it comes to the clothing, in my opinion. And for those of you who are new to Quince and you're just doing your research, they are a website that, direct to consumer, where their philosophy is to provide luxury items, luxury pieces at a fraction of the cost, because they believe that just because it's luxury and good quality items doesn't mean that you need to pay a ridiculous premium on the pieces because of branding, right? Brand names, etc. There are a lot of dupes on their website, so depending on how you feel about dupes, you may want to steer away from the kind of copy or dupes, and you don't want something that is too close to the actual brand name, etc., etc. But there are a lot of great, especially like I said, clothing pieces that are not dupes, even though the Lululemon one is, but I'll kind of go over some of the pieces, and I'm thinking of doing a different video talking about dupes and Quince, so stay tuned for that video. And of course, if you haven't seen the first 2, go check out my haul where I go into a lot more detail, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on it this time around. And just because this is considered a swimsuit cover-up doesn't mean you can't wear this out and about. And I'm wearing a tank top underneath this. If you want to conceal a little bit more, you can wear a high neck tank top and it just looks amazing. You can wear it with jeans. You can also wear it with linen pants, which I'll show you in a second here, but a lot of different ways that you can put this on top of a tank top, and it just elevates your look, in my opinion. Now, is this gonna keep you warm? No, it's not. It's completely like see-through, so I don't think it's gonna keep you warm, but it just gives you a very nice visual effect when you wear a long sleeve. It's kind of conservative, but it's also not conservative, or however you want to put it, where it gives you a little bit of an edgier look, in my opinion. And of course, stay tuned till the end because I do have a bag that you might be interested as we are heading into vacation, summer vacation season. So the next piece, again, very fitting for the summer, are these linen pants. I love these because I personally have no butt. Like, it is just back. It goes from top to bottom, a flat surface. So, and these linen pants actually make me look like I have a butt. So point, my boyfriend actually is like, oh, that's actually pretty nice. These particular ones are not drawstring, but these are stretchy, and I love the design of these. And how these are different from other linen pants out there is that there are belt loops. And that's not something I see very often, because if you want to wear a belt through this and kind of elevate your look as you are going out and about, you won't have to fumble around with the belt, because if there aren't any belt loops to keep the belt itself in place, it kind of just floats upwards and downwards and you have to keep adjusting it. So there are 2 belt loops in the front and 1 in the back. So you can obviously wear it just as plain, without the belt, or again, have the option of keeping your belt secure around the stretchy band here. And the band itself is actually incredibly comfortable. My biggest pet peeve about wearing stretchy pants that has a band is usually it digs into your gut, or starts to roll up, or starts to roll down. So these are actually very well constructed. These are, I think, 100% linen, and they do come with relatively deep pockets. So it's a fantastic design. I'm definitely going to keep these because honestly, this is probably my favorite outfit with the linen pants and this fishnet top. All of the pieces I'm talking about today will be in the pinned comments down below and in the description box. And for reference, my measurements are down below. I'll also include it in everything so you can get a understanding of how things would fit on you based on your body size and body frame. Now, I also bought the same pair of linen pants in the white color, and I love wearing white during the summer. A black top, tank top with white pants, and these are incredibly comfortable. However, I don't think the color white is going to be worth it to keep, just because it is quite see-through. So depending on what kind of panty color you're wearing, you could see it very vividly. Additionally, it does bug me that when you wear it, you can, because the actual fabric is super thin, the pocket itself is much more opaque because of double layers, triple layers, whatever. You can see the outline of the pockets, which is kind of a pet peeve of mine. So to me, this is not worth it. I don't think I will be keeping this pair. Moving on to a black silk button-up. Yes, there's a lot of neutral colors, and that's just how I live my life. I love neutral, and then I jazz it up with, nice pop of color when it comes to jewelry. This is not a good example, but I do wear pops of colors when it comes to my handbags. I like to keep it neutral because I want to keep wearing the same pieces over and over again and mixing and matching. But when it comes to bright colors, it's harder to mix and match, in my opinion. So this one to me is not worth it. Maybe it is a personal reason. The silk itself is very soft, very comfy. It feels luxurious. However, personal issue, I'm a little bit more busty, and I have I am terrorized when it comes to button-up shirt, but I figured let's just give it a try. But the story is why I'm so traumatized with button-up shirts is that I wore a nice button-up. I was walking downtown Chicago on Michigan Avenue, broad daylight, and I had a button-up shirt that popped open. I had no idea, and I did not wear an undershirt or a tank top like what I'm wearing today. So just, straight ball, walking down the street and, going about my merry way, and all of a sudden this guy, gentleman, taps me on the shoulder and didn't say a word and just pointed at my chest. And I was like, oh my God, my tits are basically out in the open for everybody to see on a broad, Tuesday, let's just say 2 in the afternoon. So that was fun. So I'm very afraid of having buttons pop open. And this proved my point because it was so tight around my bust. And yeah, it just wasn't very flattering. I figured getting a button-up shirt in black would be a little bit better. but this to me again is not worth it. And of course we know silk can get crinkled and wrinkled very quickly. When it's a shirt and it's linen and it gets really wrinkly, I feel like that's just not a good look. When it's pants, it's probably not as bad because people understand that you're sitting down, and when it comes to silk, it just doesn't look as nice, even if it's black. So I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but yes, I could have seen this, but you can see all of the wrinkling that could happen as you are wearing it. So in my opinion, the silk top, maybe if you want to get a tank top, that might be worth it. However, the silk button up to me is not worth it. All right, I've got another silk dress that is high neck, and I have a wedding to attend this summer or spring, and I was like, oh, maybe let's give the dress a try from Quince. It looks really nice in photos, but this fit me awfully. And I did get a size medium. It was so tight around my gut area. My mom likes to say I have a swimming tube around my gut, so you know, it didn't look very flattering. I like the high neck version of dresses. It just feels like, you know, it hides my, I guess like it hides my like armpit fat, I guess. So that's why I like high neck tops, and the cutout just wasn't flattering at all. And it did zip up very nicely on the back. I'm not even gonna do like a mod, you know, twirl like I have been showing you. I'm just showing you a screenshot because the back is just awful. I just felt like my back was just being squeezed out, even though it fit everywhere else pretty nicely. Okay, another black skirt. I just feel like it's a blob. I'm showing you a blob, but I promise you in the mod shot, it's gonna look a lot better. This is a pleated skirt. I did buy one from Everlane, but that stretched out a little bit too much, so it felt too loose. I purchased this one hoping that it would feel very similar to the Everlane version, but this one is fantastic. It is double layered, so you won't feel like it's see-through. It is super flowy. The pleated skirt portion of the fabric is beautiful. The biggest gripe I have with most pleated skirt is that there's the band right here, and usually, again, similar to any stretchy pants with a band, it's so uncomfortable, whereas this one sits very nicely. It's tight enough to keep the skirt on. However, it is also loose enough so it's not uncomfortable, where it just makes you feel like you have a muffin top even though you don't. Well, I kind of do, regardless of what I wear, but I hide it well. And I would say this is a solid staple piece that you can have in your capsule wardrobe if you want to do that and build it up and layer it with multiple different tops. All right, the next piece is a little bit more color. Yes, it's still dark. It is navy, but a lot of these new releases, Quince has a tendency that I've noticed, correct me if I'm wrong, but they like to release newer models, newer dresses and whatnot, mostly in white, black, and the neutral colors. They want to see if it sells well before they start expanding to other colors. So a lot of these are new releases, hence I only have black or white to choose from, or maybe a beige. However, I'm not complaining. I love black and white. But this one I did get in a navy. Now this one, to me, is not worth getting just because the band is exactly what I do not like. It is too tight. It sucks you in, even though this is a very flowy dress, and it just basically gave me kind of a muffin top when, again, completely unnecessary. If they were to use the same kind of material as the pleated skirt, then it would be much more comfortable. I don't understand, because the linen pants actually worked out. So this one is much wider, maybe that's the case. I don't know, it just was not flattering. As you can see me twirl around, this open slit here, again, it's just kind of weird. It's not high enough, but it's also not low enough. It just didn't work out. I didn't like it. I got another linen dress, so I don't know how I feel about this one. It actually looked okay on camera. Let me know what you guys think. Should I keep this one or should I return it? It actually fit just fine, but the flare of the dress, this linen dress, was a little bit too wide. And of course, with my fear of this popping open, the bust was a little too tight still, but it was doable. But I also thought that if I ate a little bit more, it might not work, because it looked like my stomach was very smooth and flat. There was not a whole lot of lumps and bumps happening, but I just feel like if I ate one more bite of pasta, it might not work out for me in the long run. However, I do like the style of this. I might look at getting a white color or maybe a more fun color. I figured black was very safe with these, different white buttons, a very nice contrast. It does come with a linen belt with loops, which is very nice. And you can see I did interchange it with, instead of the belt that it came with a Hermes Kelly belt, which elevates the look here as well. So very comfortable. And I love how they incorporate, except for the pleated skirt, the pants, the linen skirt, and of course this particular dress, they all come with pockets. Do you know how amazing that is? That we have come to the day and age where dresses, majority of them, now incorporate pockets. Like back in the day, women in all these dresses that I bought didn't have pockets. Like, do we women not need pockets? I don't know, just an honest question. But now they started incorporating pockets, which is incredibly convenient. You could put your phone in there, you could put your, tissue in there, whatever it is. It's just like me complaining about, bags where they don't create pockets in the back of the bag where you can easily put your phone in there. It's just kind of common sense, in my opinion, or perhaps expected nowadays, just to have pockets everywhere so that you can have a much more functional product. All right, this is the last clothing item before I jump into the bag. And if you are new here, do hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Check out some of my other Quince videos if that's your jam. For those of you who are returning, thanks for coming back. I rely on you every single week to hit that like button and of course have a conversation with me down in the comments down below. All right, so this last Windbreaker jacket, it is not a rain jacket, it's water repellent. However, I love the cut of this. It is fantastic. The design is phenomenal. It's light enough for you to kind of just wear casually if you're going out hiking, if you are just a little bit cold or you're in the car. It is, or if you, maybe you're not in the office just because this makes too much noise, but this cut is phenomenal. And the design is also very functional. So on the back, you can see how it opens up and there's a little bit of a mesh situation going on here. So it allows airflow. In the front here, the zipper is fantastic and you've got two different pockets that are also zipped. My favorite part about this jacket is that I love the zipped up look, because again, I got a freakishly long neck, so I like high neck everything, and this one just gives you that more seamless look. But wait, there is more. It actually comes with a hood. So again, my biggest pet peeve when it comes to wearing jacket is that if your jacket has a hood and you're wearing a crossbody and you're trying to take it on and off and it just gets caught on the hoodie, right? You know what I'm talking about. Now this one, obviously, it's seamless, right? You don't have to worry about that. Maybe just your hair getting caught with the crossbody strap. However, if you are caught in the rain, there's one little button that you snap open and you can bust out a hood. So it's not like you're gonna get caught in the rain every single day, but the way they designed it is extremely seamless. It doesn't look like this is supposed to have a hood, but I think it's fantastic. I don't know if this is a dupe. Maybe it is, I don't know, but this is the first time I ever seen a jacket that is designed this well, and I'm completely here for it. Now, I do unfortunately have to return or at least get an exchange. For some reason, I've never had an issue with any of the Quince products that I purchased, but this zipper, this side pocket zipper, is completely jammed. Like I cannot He-Man this to get this zipper to come down. So I'm gonna have to do an exchange for this. Now I'm kind of itching to see what other colors they have and might get a couple of these because these are just phenomenal. All right, we're gonna wrap up this show and tell with a bag. Now this is a travel bag. I did go over more of the leather bags and I kind of want to talk about some of the new ones and some other pieces that I'm eyeballing, but they were so advanced out of stock, like pre-order wise, like we're gonna ship this out a month or two later. I do have color pieces, like beautiful color, bright colors that I'm interested in. They were just not in stock, so I want to go over that a couple of them. And this is the travel duffel. It's a strong dupe, but I would say there are still minute differences. For example, the MZ Wallace duffel, they have two different pockets, whereas the Quince version is just one big open compartment, which honestly I kind of like because I don't like having too many pockets. Unlike my, pants and dresses, this one big compartment is just easier to throw things in. And this is the quilted material, nylon material. Now, interior, you can see there are more zippers. more slip compartments, and of course a little thing for your keys. Honestly, this is actually pretty terrible quality, but I don't carry a lot of keys, so this is not a big deal to me. They also have the chunky zippers, which is fantastic, very smooth. The straps are long enough for me to just throw over my shoulder. And the interior, you've got a laptop compartment with a snap button, and very similar to the MZ Wallace kind of bags where there are a million zippers, a million pockets, which I feel like is completely unnecessary. Let's give us 2 or 3, but we don't need like 15 of them. But this one has 2 slip compartments, a zip pocket, and then you've got card holders right here, which is, I feel like, a little bit odd. And I think this is made of leather. They do include one one slip bag, which I know MZ Wallace likes to include like 5 of them. It does come with a shoulder strap. Now, I don't see myself using this at all just because I prefer using the actual bag straps and throwing it over my shoulder. I feel like when it is these straps that go on the outside of the bag, on the sides of the bag, the weight distribution is terrible and it just hurts my shoulders. So I do not prefer having these detachable straps just because of the functionality of it and the comfort of it. The rest of it is just an open compartment where it's completely a black hole. So if they come out with brighter colors that are not too offensive, like, a hot pink, I probably would look into that as opposed to black. But I know black is very inconspicuous. Having a bag that has no branding for you when you are traveling is always a good idea. You also have an extremely deep pocket here for you to put your cell phone. Actually, it might be a little too deep for your cell phone. I don't know. You might have to go digging in there. On the sides, you do have 2 side compartments where you can put your water bottles, or if you prefer to put your cell phone in here, it's actually pretty spacious. And another pocket that is also very deep. So, pockets here, pockets there, pockets everywhere. Lastly, there's a magnet closure right here where you can unzip the bottom so that it can go over your carry-on handle. So functionality wise, 10 out of 10, I would say this is very well designed. And you also have the leather straps so that I think it might stay on your shoulder a little bit better. So you do have that detailing. Now, I know there are a lot of Amazon dupes out there. I would say this is probably the better quality one because I've seen some pretty janky ones on Amazon. And I think if you're going to buy a dupe, honestly, go get the MZ Wallace one, in my opinion. But if you don't want to spend that kind of money, I think this is fantastic. And of course, if you don't want the MZ Wallace kind of logo on here, even though it's pretty inconspicuous, but if you want to go extreme, maybe this one could be a better fit for you. However, MZ Wallace has much more fun colors. The stitching here, just to wrap things up on this particular bag, is fantastic. I don't see any loose stitching. Oh, I forgot. There are also feet at the bottom. And I think it's cool how it came with its own dust bag. Okay, just to quickly rattle off other pieces that I'm interested in that I think I might add to my collection is this European linen scoop midi dress. I love the flower print. I think the cut, it looks fantastic. And of course, it's got pockets. This is linen, so if you are afraid of the wrinkling and the creasing, this one might be a good option where you still get the benefits of wearing the linen, how airflow, very lightweight. But when it's a print, it might not look as wrinkly. So this is something I'm eyeballing. And if you really like the Italian handwoven, which is obviously a Bottega dupe, and you don't want to pay the Bottega prices, they came out with a white color. And I did say, I didn't end up keeping it because I thought my mom would like it. I don't know, this white color for $150, if you are afraid of buying a bag that is like $6,000 and you really want a white bag, I think this is the perfect opportunity for you to test out a white bag. The leather itself, from my memory, and of course when I did that video, it's very impressive how soft the land skin is on this with the woven leather. Of course, it's not going to have the same hardware. I don't think there's like any hardware on this at all. But this is a fantastic option if you want to try the lighter color. I would highly recommend that you spray it down with Kiwi Protector so that you do not get color transfer. And again, in my experience, better than Carbon Pro because it actually helps with color transfer or stops color transfer. Okay, this is the color I am talking about where I wanted the French, I think they call it the French blue. I know the vest kind of trend is very hot right now. I'm a little nervous about it just because it looks really nice on people who are very skinny, very petite, very kind of like athletic looking. I'm again very busty. So I don't know how this vest style or trend is gonna look on me. It might just, I don't know. I have to try it. But again, I was gonna order it for this video. However, the medium size wasn't available till like July, like literally July. By that time, summer is over. We're looking at autumn clothes already. I don't know. The other thing I also wanted to point out, if you are looking at like Dolce Vita for cheap boots, I would say take a gander at this, because the Italian leather tall Western boots, because I know a lot of like the cheapy Amazon Western boots are just like pleather, and I'm not about the pleather life. So if you want real pleather at $200 in 3 different colors, I think this is fantastic. If you're coming to my town, Nashville, you got to get, they don't have the white one, but it's like a uniform. Any girl that comes to Nashville for their bachelorette party, it's always the same, like cute little dress with their white cowboy boots. And they go, woo, we call them the woo girls down here and make fun of them. Don't be a woo girl. But if you want to wear something fashionable, I think this is a fantastic option. And just to wrap up this video real quick, a couple accessories that I think you should take a look at are these silver drop earrings. They are sterling silver, and I think they look very elegant. For $30, I think it's worth trying. And if you are an Apple Watch wearer, I just got my Hermes watch in the double tour strap, and I love the look of it. And now they actually make it for Apple Watch. Now, as much as I love, Hermes items and would kind of shell out the money for them, but when it comes to Apple Watches or smart watches in general, you don't want to pay that kind of price, because they keep updating the Apple Watches to have different straps, different whatever. It's capitalism. We'll leave it at that. If you can spend, $30, $40 on a leather strap that gives you the same look, don't spend $500 on the Hermes strap. Spend this kind of money, but not that kind of money. Save where you can. The last thing I want to go over is their perfume. It seems like they came out with perfume. I know companies like Dossier is very popular, but if you want to give this one a try, it seems like their smell could be really unique, and it's only $50. So definitely take a look at that, see if you want to try it out. So that wraps it up. I went over a lot of different items. Hopefully you find one or two. Again, remember, Quince's return policy is actually pretty fantastic. Just make sure you make your decision and for every order, make it all into one single return, because from what I hear, if you do 2 different returns on one single order, they will charge you like an extra $10 or so. So make your decision. You have 365 days to make that return, and keep all of your packaging. I know they're pretty strict about the packaging. I make sure I keep all of the plastic wrap, as well as, any boxes that they ship it in or bags that they ship it in, and just send it right back so that they have no issues, and don't try to dock you for anything. Obviously, keep the tags on, just try it on, don't wear it out. But so far, of the multiple purchases I've done with Quince and made some returns, everything has gone through incredibly smooth. So I hope you really enjoyed that video. Drop me a comment, say hi to me if you are new to my channel. Let me know what your thoughts on the pieces I picked out. Have you tried any of these pieces? I'll leave you other Quince videos here so that you can catch up on it and show you some of my favorite pieces. I've gone over Loewe dupes. I've gone over Bottega dupes. So definitely go check that out. Life is hard. I want to help you save time and money so that you can somehow adult easier and hopefully less than retail. I'll see you all next time.